न ब्रह्मलोके न च देवलोके न यक्षगन्धर्व मनुष्यलोके लोकस्य जाति जरापनेता नन्नस्ति तत्तो हि मनुष्यचन्द्र वन्दितास्तव सुरै सेन्द्रै ऋषिभिश्चोऽपि पूजिताः वैद्यो सर्वस्य लोकस्य वन्देऽहमपि त्वं विभो। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Not in Brahmaloka, nor in Devaloka, nor in the worlds of the Jakshas or Gandharvas is there another like you, the liberator from birth and old age, O moon among men. You are adored by the gods and worshipped by the sages. You, the physician of the world, whole world. I too offer my worship to you, O Lord Buddha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. So today our subject is what is called the three paths of refuge. It's very popularly known, three ratna, three as if jewels. These three jewels are, as we all know, first is to take refuge in Buddha, and then Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Then they say Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. These are the three. First, in spiritual life, there should be one with the pole star of life, who can show us the light to go beyond the sorrows and suffering. So first, that Buddha, not a person, but personified, the entire principle of spirituality is entangled, or it is concretized in one, that ideal. Like Buddha, like Rama, Krishna, like Rama, like Christ. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha. One who is really feeling that this life has problems and we are to go beyond the problems of life, or we cross the sufferings of life, the troubles of life, and end our suffering. So we need some person who is an ideal, who have done himself as a glaring example before us. The first condition is that big theories don't do anything. Unless we find there is a glaring light, glaring example, yes, he has conquered death, disease, and all troubles of life. Then we can get inspiration. That's why Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. We must have to take refuge in that state of being. Buddha is not a person, but a state of being in which all sorrows, suffering are gone. That absolute, intangible point have been concretized in some personality. That we call Buddha. And then there is the question of Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami. Buddha means some principles, and that there is the path to follow, and follow the righteous principles as laid down by Buddha, to follow that. But it not only, that is the second important point. If we have an ideal, ideals are always there around us. but who is trying to take refuge in Saranam Gacchami to dharma, to righteously or sincerely following that path which can lead us to liberation and freedom. That's a very deep subject. Superficial people think about God, but who wants to sacrifice himself and have the power to master their own little petty desires to reach that highest love and joy or his own being. Third point is that we need an environment where this may be made practical and realistic. Everything has an environment. Chemistry lab has a chemistry environment. Physics lab has that. A dancing place has a dancing environment. Any field of life you go, there is an environment. In spiritual life, there should be some environment. That's the Sangha. Sangha means accumulation of people of the similar mind who are ultimately ready to renounce anything and everything for that cause, that purpose. So that's why it is the call to take refuge in Buddha, to take refuge in his dharma, the way he lived and he showed the path. Third, where? Not in Hollywood Boulevard. We have to get to an environment where others are similarly trying to solve the mystery of life, trying to get out of the suffering of life, and then that will help each other to conquer that problem, life's problem. So, what is Buddha? Buddha is not as I said, Buddha is not a man as we think. He was a prince, though, born in the Sakya family. He was the prince. But he has come down only as we just chanted the verse, no? That no Brahmaloke, na cha Devaloke, na Jakshagandharva Manushaloke, lokasya jati jara aponeta. That's the important. No nosti. There is no one another like you. O Buddha, you cannot be found in the highest heaven, Brahmaloka. Nor in the Devaloka, where the gods only reside. No, there also it is not available. They are busy with their power, position, beauty, enjoyment in the heaven. There is not Buddha. Not even the world of Jakshas and Gandharvas, singers and musicians world is there. It's called Gandharva Loka. You cannot find, Buddha cannot be found in this area. But the liberator, as he was born as a liberator from birth, old age and disease. That is, we take refuge. He is the ideal which stands. Swami Vivekananda also, we have to just connect with our present age. That is Sri Ramakrishna. I will go to that. Just to say a few words about what Swami Vivekananda said. And he said about Ramakrishna, the time was ripe for one to be born, the embodiment of both head and heart. The time was ripe for one to be born who is one body, would have the brilliant intellect of Shankara and the wonderfully expansive infinite heart of Sri Chaitanya. One who would see in every sect the same spirit working the same God. One who would see God in every being. One whose heart would weep for the poor, for the weak, for the outcast, for the downtrodden, for every one of this world inside India or outside India. And it is the same time whose grand, brilliant intellect would conceive of such noble thoughts as would harmonize all conflicting sects, not only in India but outside India, and bring a marvelous bring a marvelous harmony, the universal religion of head and heart, and for the redemption of the poor and the needy and the suffering. The purpose is the same. That's why Buddha is considered as one of the incarnation in Hinduism. But let us go the why to take what was Buddha. Buddha is a experience. We know Buddha's life a little bit. We all know he was born as a prince. He was born and brought up in a luxurious family of a kingly environment, and his particularly father was careful about the prediction of the horoscope makers, and they say that there is a potential. This boy is extraordinary. He will be making revolution. If he is in the king, he will be greatest king in the emperor, no? And if he has a chance of renouncing, then he will be in another way rule the world. His father was very worried, so he kept him in pleasure garden. And all beautiful, all rosy, all colorful, all singing, dancing, everything glaring, and not to know anything of the world outside. And he then went out to see, being tired in the princely amusement and fun. He wanted to go out a little bit, and he saw, and he was awakened at that moment. He saw, we see every day those things, but it does not awaken our mind. We live the same life. Okay, it is going on well. That's one scene I thought, I say, oh my God, it is so bad. That's all. Nothing more to have. So what he saw first? He saw sick person. What is that sick? It is sick person. He didn't know there is sickness in the body. And that was a big question for him. This body will get sick. I will be sick. My wife will be sick. My child will be sick. It brought him big awareness inside and big question. We see how many sick people, we are sick, but it does not care. I think that I'll be cured tomorrow and again fight in the world and go on with it. That's nothing wrong. But to solve the mystery, why suffering? And next, you saw the old man tottering over old man? What is that? Yes, everyone will be old. I am a young prince, I'll be old. My wife so young, she will be old. She has no concept about the world of suffering or pain. Here's another stroke, striking another chord of the heart. He found it, oh my God. Then old age, acha. And then third day, death. Is the end? Death? Then what for everything? What for palace? What for all these jewels and pearls and grand things on conquering the country and expanding the kingdom? What all this? What for? Death is the end? That is the question. And then fourth day, he saw another monk with nothing in possession but full of joy. So these three things are happening in everyone's life. Buddha, that's why Buddha is the word awakened. Buddha name, if you find in Sanskrit, Buddha means one who is awakened. Awakened means that awakening which we are sleeping. In those areas we are sleeping. We see but don't see. But Buddha saw once and he was awakened. And that make him totally transform personality. And then we see that he is giving up. He's going to inquire about the truth. Anyone has solved this problem, don't bring dharma, don't bring Christianity, Islam, this, that. It is just say these three problems, Hindu, Christian, Islam, Muslim, Judaism, this, that. Don't talk about those things. Buddha didn't talk about that. He pointed out straight-cut question. You are a human being. You have suffering. Are you have disease? Have you old age? Are you subject to death? Did you solve the problem? Forget God. That's why ignore. The one God sitting over there with the ruling hand, or one loving God, don't have to consider anything. Just solve these three problems. What a bold approach to life. Vedanta was there. Vedanta thought is the same. Buddha is nothing but an offshoot of Hinduism. And what was Hinduism that time? That the forgetting the search for this infinite truth. It was getting divulged into rituals and what is called the forms of sacrifice of the animals and this in the sacrificial fire. But these are ritual side, and that make it is something going on, but what not solving the problem of life. You can kill 10 goats in the name of your spirituality. But what transformation comes over here? You kill, no problem. But does it transform the soul? And then just that took him to that, take a strong resolve and giving up everything. It's meaningless. All these things are meaningless. If one sincerely thinks about this awakened condition, three primary conditions of our life which we are all going through, ignoring that side of life and looking at the bright side of the glittering side, and camouflaging that. Vedanta says they are ajnana, juxtaposing one for the other, superimposing one for the other. It's glittering, everything is glittering, glittering, glittering. And when you fall to some health condition, serious health condition, doctor said, sorry, then all the glittering thing vanishes in split second. These are realities of life. We need not have to talk about it much. We all understand. But that is not the problem. Problem is that are we awakened into it? Here is a person who woke up. And this call forced him to find a way out. Not that he intentionally leaving the wife and husband, children, son and the kingdom, nothing. For the search, that intense search for the reality, as Ramakrishna did, intense search for mother. That is he called mother. But he was intense in it. Day passes, as soon as the puja over in the duty of life, bus goes to the Panchabhuti and the forest and crying and weeping and meditating and trying to solve the problem, trying to find what is beyond. And the Upanishads declares the same way, that all these rishis did that way, giving up all these things. Giving up is not the point. Point is that intensely dedicating 24 hours for the solution of the problem. So then you know that he went to, renounced everything and went for meditation, and he sat on a cushion, no? But meditation sit. And what he took the resolution? That is the strong resolution telling him that I am here to solve this mystery. Iha shane shushatu me shariram. I am sitting in this posture and concentrating and trying to know the secret of it, analyze it, life, and is there anything beyond or something. And iho ashane shushatu me shariram tvak asthimangshang pralayancha jatu. Let the tvak, skin, flesh, bone, they separate out. I will not get up from this seat. Or prapabodhing, not getting awakened, or not being awakened in that reality. I am not going to get up from this seat. Let my body fall apart. I don't care. Such a strong resolution. And you know, we all know that he was so much day and night. And he has mental power. How much mental strength is necessary to love this ideal, to solve the problem of life, and can dedicate that much, everything. A king staying in the palace, and now staying in the forest, in the woods. There is rain, sun, food, no drink, sitting there and resolving, trying to solve the problem. And that ultimately Sujata came and gave the pies. That story is something loving. But what he did complete that search. And afterwards, he was got the Buddhi awakening. And then he walked in that Bodh Gaya. If you go, there is a path, it's called Buddha's path. He, out of ecstatic joy, 7 days walking back and forth in the same path. And then he searched the truth and he had got the solution. So this is Buddha. What we learn from Buddha? Not to sleep. Knowing the problems, we should have to act upon that. And we act on many problems of life here. But this is the core problem of our very personality, our very being here. We have to act following Buddha. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. You take modern age Ramakrishna, as I just mentioned, nothing but God, God, God. That's why Ramakrishna said, first realize God, and then all these things will be there. First God, and whatever you want, you do it later on. That means the priority of life is this, that we should have to find out a solution of this mystery, and there is a solution. That's why he gave these 4 noble teachings, no? Buddha. What is the 4? There is suffering. There is suffering. Accept first point, first principle. In life, there is suffering. Who is there in the world will not agree with this? From the top to the ordinary, most learned, most intelligent, to the most unintelligent, who will disagree with this point? There is suffering. That's the first point. There is suffering. There is a way. There is a cause of suffering. Why this suffering? Who created my suffering? Diving deep into the question, suffering, why is this suffering? There is a cause. Find out the cause. What is the cause? Why I am suffering? I may blame the whole world, but cause of my suffering is me. That, Buddha says, Trishna, Tanha, desire. You desire, that's why you suffer. You don't desire, your problem, 90% problem is gone. If one can free himself or herself from a particular desire, any desire, little desire. Holy Mother said, even a little fiber is there, the thread, it will not pass through the needle, eye of the needle. So, little desire, big desire, little desire also will make us crazy, and we suffer because of that, cause of suffering. And there is a way out. There is a way out, and there is a path to follow that. So these are the 4 cardinal principles on which Buddha taught. He didn't say, meditate on God in the heaven. God is Saguna or Nirguna. God is Sakara or Nirakara. Yeah, that question is this secondary question. Now your house is in fire. Try to take a hose and just stop the water. Push water to put the fire first down. Then you think, our Pandits were doing that. Okay, why it is fire on this corner? It should be this corner. Wind was blowing on this way. And they start talking about scratching their brain and brainstorming. And it is fire that is consuming the house. That's the point. It should be not intellectual, not only, but Buddhism ultimately become very intellectual, that's true. But that is the natural end result. Who wants to know the truth? Again, Maya comes, or ignorance comes and deludes us. So this is the point, that there is this cause of suffering. There is suffering. There is a cause of suffering, that is the Trishna, our thirst, our desire. and there is a way out, and path for that can be followed. So these are the 4 principles. And he said 8 principles afterwards. Now that is the Dharma, 4 noble truths and 8 noble paths. The 4 noble truths, the truth of suffering, this teaches that suffering is an inherent part of life, and that all conditioned phenomena are impermanent and subject to change. Very point is so deep that truth of suffering, it is truth. Why? That it teaches that suffering is an inherent part of life. You cannot live in life and cannot think that there is no suffering. So it is a part of life. As you are breathing, as you have the eyes to see, so suffering is a part of life. And that's why it is truth. That and all conditioned phenomena are impermanent. Anything happening, it is we see, everything is changing. Vedanta also suggests the same ideas, only talking about ultimate goal in a different language. So it's conditioned phenomena, they are all impermanent and there is subject to change, and there is nothing as such we find in the world which does not change. I am talking, I have changed by these few minutes. My age has been changed, my eyes have been old, teeth have been less strong, nervous system is deteriorating to death 1 day more, 1 hour more. So this everything is changing. We cannot hold anything in this world, of this impermanent world. And then the truth of origin of suffering. There is a truth. What is the truth? The origin of suffering there is. What is the origin? This teaches that suffering arises from the craving and attachment. That's why detach, live in the world. Who is the free guy who has detached and lived? They may have Janaka, the story of Janaka. Janaka's house, palace is in fire. Janaka is engaged in Vedantic discussion, Atman, Brahman, etc. with the sadhus. And someone says, then Janaka says, what is that to me? Mithilayang pradagdhayang name dajjati kinchana. If the Mithila, the whole palace and the whole palatial area, it goes into fire and consumed by the fire and turns into, what is that to me? Says, being a king, he can detach. That's why, which leads to the cycle of birth. Our craving and attachment, why I am here? There are 12 points. And Buddhism, they analyze very beautifully. Why are you here? Because I was born. Why did you born? Why did you born? Buddha says, and the principle says, because you have something you desired. You needed a body. You rent a car. Which car you rent? It is up to you. You need a big truck, or you need a small car, or you need a hybrid. So you decide what you need. So according to that will fulfill, this car will fulfill my desire to carry this or go where, go this. So this is a car. We designed our own cars. The Trishna, the thought, the desire to fulfill certain thing, we have this body. And why? The desire is the cause, then attachment, which leads to the cycle of birth. And because of that we are born, and naturally we fall in the same routine. It will be started with the birth and aging, and then the illness, and ultimately one day this physical body will go. Another birth, another again and again, coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. Buddha after enlightenment said, "Oh, Grihokaraka," I forgot those lines, it's in the Dhammapada. "Oh, Grihokaraka," means, oh, who builder of this body, no? That means Trishna. You cannot touch me anymore. I have been awakened into the light of awareness or the knowledge, no? You cannot delude me anymore to bring me back into the body again. So the body, we are coming back because we have some desire, unfulfilled desire. And when that desire will be fulfilled, that's why I think that sometimes I think when people suffer too much before death, why? Probably there is a principle that to feel that this body is not so good. So don't crave for being born into the body again. Maybe that's why it is said that those who have last life, but many places, many such alternative responses there. But some say because of the last birth, they are, many sadhus we see, they are so great whole life, and then at the end they suffer so much. Because some suggest, I do not know, that because they feel disgusted with the body. Oh my God, this body? Yeah, I thought it is so good, and it's so painful and so difficult to bear with it and carry it without purpose. So that's why they get disgusted, never to be attached to the body. Then the freedom will come. Anyhow, but I don't want that someone should suffer because of this regulation or rules. But some of the opinion is that people suffer. Those who are good people suffering at the end means they are paying off their loan. That means all the desires and what the body was so sweet, so beautiful in young age, and oh my God, it gives so much pain, it is much joy, that much suffering. Oh, I don't need any more to come into the body anymore. So if you are desire free, then you are awakened. So now the truth of cessation of suffering, there is a truth. There is a cessation of suffering. Otherwise, we don't get all the saints and sages in all religion. In Buddhist religion, in Hinduism, and all religion, there are people who have ended their suffering. There is a cessation of suffering, truth. This teaches that the cessation of suffering is possible. How? Through cultivation of wisdom and abandonment of craving and attachment. And there is a marga, the truth, that path leading to the cessation of suffering. This is the eightfold. Marga is there. Marga means road. You follow this track as we drive our car to right and left, this road, that road, that road. So there is a marga which leads to the path of cessation. And this teaches that the eight noble path, which includes the right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, life effort, mindfulness and concentration. These are that will change our whole perspective of life. That's why Buddhism, when it says something, it has this important thought that we should be life transforming. It is not going to church, not going to temple, not taking a dip in the holy place, or going to pilgrimage, but inner transformation. Hinduism and Buddhism, even in Christianity also, transformation of the life, purity of the life has been heavily emphasized. And Buddhism strongly, and Hinduism also says that you will have to transform yourself. Not talking, or going to so-called ritual practice. Rituals are good, if you follow the rituals, but it should transform the person. Transformation of the character is very important. That's why eightfold end of suffering, that's the last truth. That's called the marga. What is the marga? Path. That the leading to, there is cessation of suffering is possible. How it is possible? Follow this eightfold path. And what are that which will include these eight? I'll talk a little bit because we talked always all the high philosophy, but don't practice in life. So Buddhism and Hinduism emphasizes so much on the practice. I mean, Brahmananda Maharaj used to say, practice. That means just do something to purify, to understand, and to get out of those lower propensities which pulls our mind down to the thing impermanent. Main point is that nothing wrong in the world that our eyes are drawn, our ears are attracted, or our tongue likes this. Nothing wrong. But it drags us down and brings us down from our solution of the life's problem, try to get out of the secrets. We want to get out of the suffering of life, and that is the missing there. So, very importantly, that's first of all, it says sammak drishti. Sammak means right, drishti means vision or beholding rightly. How do we behold? We behold only the fan with the 3 blades or 4 blades. We don't see the blades. We see a circular something, as if solid something. What we see is seeing all wrong things we are seeing. I am standing vertical here in the podium. Think of the map in the globe. Bring a globe and put Los Angeles and Hollywood and see how we are all sitting. How vertically you are sitting. Which angle you are there. This angle or that angle. But we see, in reality we see we are all vertically standing on the ground. Even physically this is the question. And if you go psychologically it is deeper, it will be much more. Sammak drishti is what Buddha got. To be awakened, to understand really life has, don't try your face to turn on the other side. Thinking, okay, there is no suffering. Oh, some suffering coming, okay, try to run away from that. It will not solve the problem. To accept it, see it clearly, right vision, that this suffering is there, old age is there, disease is there, death is there. This is haunting us every day, every moment. Have a vision of that and not to cry. Does not mean that, oh, seeing this, then let me go and go to depression. That is not the teaching of Buddhism, neither of the Vedanta. Swamiji says, Vedanta starts with total type of nihilism, or what you call the total dispassion and other things, very hurting thing. But it ends in optimism. Everything starts with pessimism, as it were. Oh, don't desire, don't do, don't look, don't greed, don't eat, don't. How shall I live my life? Don't. All the don'ts around Buddhism and Hinduism. No. It seems it is very, very frustrating. It is asking us to not to live in the life and devoid of the life. No, it seems pessimistic, but it actually is optimism. Because to see the thing in a right perspective, watch, then how to solve the problem is a different thing. First of all, we go to doctors, what they do? They just go and give the medicine. They will not talk to you. I think bring blood result. And let's go to the CT scan, this scan, that scan. And then all the reports come and then, so let us diagnose first. Our problem, disease is where our disease. So this is the sammak drishti. And then looking at the world in the right way, right perspective. Second point is sammak sankalpa. Sankalpa is resolution or intention. Then it is very important we have to take right resolution. What to do now? What Buddha said, what he did. I'll have to solve the problem. Then what will you do? You go. Wherever you find the solution, go. But this is, an intention should be there that my life's intention should be not to just ignore these great problems of life and just engage very happily in this dancing and singing of life, and one day gone to the cremation ground. Not sasyamiva marta jayate pachyate punaha. Some Kathopanishad says, no? His life is not like to be born like the paddy and husk and other things, and paddy and grains, and then grow, and one day it falls down. We are born, we are grown, we are old age and die. Finish. Is that the life? That should not be. That's why intention should be there, or resolution should be there, that this is the thing, I will have to come out of it. Then what to do? Then you want to reach the truth. So sammak bhak. speak the truth. Hold on to your speech. Should not hurt, injure, or it should be so sincere to let the mouth speak about God. In the Bhagavad says, if the mouth does not talk about, they believe in God, but Buddhism, I'm bringing the same analysis. Buddhism also have one wing, no? They have different gods and goddesses. But what we are talking about, the basic principle which started with Buddhism, that there is speech. This speech, it is like a, if this does not talk about holy thoughts, holy words, then it is the, like our mouth, my mouth is also making some sound, and the frog also makes the noise whole night. The Bhagavad says it is frog's voice. Gang or gang, gang or gang. That means it is disturbing whole night, you cannot sleep anymore, and it's continuously disturbing. So our life becomes miserable listening to rubbish talks comes out of the mouth. So be careful what you speak, because Bak, speech, and the speech is the expression of your thought. That's what you are talking. Ramakrishna said, if one eats, what you call, the radish, he belches rubbish, radish, no. So what is inside, an intelligent person, you talk to a philosopher, they talk about philosophy. In the dining table, if they eat, they will be talking high philosophy. A musician, if they're really musician, the two musicians sing, they will talk about music only. So a spiritual person should speak about spirituality only. But you have to live in the world, not excluding the normal life, but it should be, one should be careful what we are speaking day and night. And that speaking is an expression of your mind, it is giving an expression how you are thinking. And thinking process should be changed. Will you pay to the changing of objects of the world, or to the which does not? Karma, then you do action, right action. Immoral action, unethical. So it's very serious. That's why Buddhism and Hinduism, there is no scope for all this, and they have given a rod, very strong, powerful rod. It's karma. You do this karma, this life. If you don't go this life, next life. Next life you are suffering because of 10 lives before you did that bad karma. It's now coming. So that's the theory, that the karma should be action, right action, which will be good for spiritual growth and development, good for others, good for society, good for our own material life also. Ajiva, livelihood, but a right type of livelihood. Livelihood is a non-injury, non-stealing, refraining from destroying the life of living beings, stealing, refraining from stealing, refraining from sexual misconduct, refraining from small, useless, false speech, refraining from intoxicants which lead to heedlessness. All these types, that's called. How we live is important. That is the spiritual life. Buddha emphasizes on these 8 paths. So the world does not care what you are realized or not realized. The world wants to see character. And character should be pure and stainless. And now, 6th point is sammak vyayama. It's called ajiva. Ajiva means live proper livelihood. And livelihood means leading a good life, honest life, not to hurt anyone, not to speak of ill of anybody, not to steal, not to have sexual misconduct, not to have false speech, not to have intoxicants which will totally lead to heedlessness. No? Sammak vyayama means right endeavor. Effort, when you put the effort to anything, means should be as good as the end. sammak vyayama. That means everything we do, it brings the result. So therefore, our actions should be done in such a way that it does not bring more suffering in our life. Sammak smriti, that means this memory, right type of memory. Right type of memory, keep the mind in the right type of thoughts and ideas. Recollect those ideas of old which will nourish and nurture our That means, and then will lead to sammak samadhi, right type of concentration, mindfulness. Mindfulness is very common practice in Buddhism. So be mindful what you are doing, what you are thinking. Mindful means it makes us alert in every aspect of life. So these are this Eightfold Path will lead us to wisdom. And wisdom stands at the end of this Eightfold Path of knowledge. And then comes Bodhi or Bodhisattva. So this we find that Buddhang Saranam Gacchami, Dharmam Saranam Gacchami. These are the Dharma as preached by Buddha. The four principles, Noble Truth, and the Eightfold Paths. And this being followed, but where shall I do it? We need some convenient environment where these emotions, this type of right living, right thinking, right seeing, right type of livelihood is maintained by other people together. That's why Sangha is the congregation of similar-minded people. That's why Buddha Sangha and Ramakrishna Sangha. The purpose is the same. The Sangha ideal is to help. Suppose we are here. We are all thinking jointly this thought, no? That is, we're getting congenial environment. If you sit and meditate, no one will disturb you. But you may want to meditate, but you go to a place where there's no convenient environment and that is not appreciated. So this is the point. Sangha is a very important factor in this spiritual life. That's why that Sangha, Buddha Sangha, came on the total idea of total renunciation, and that we know that every family, every person become Buddhang Saranam Gacchami, Sanghang Saranam Gacchami, and took the idea that to make it implement in their life, total detachment from the world, take the vow of sannyas, renounce the world. And renouncing the world to help the world and leading a pure life, making yourself free from all these miseries and sufferings and old age and conquering that death, you can say, or attaining that bodhisattva. You live in the world, be an example, and others will get the benefit of that. Swami Vivekananda, when giving after sannyas given to some of the newly ordained things during his lifetime, he said, remember, for the salvation of his soul, and for the good and happiness of many, a sannyasin is born in the world. To sacrifice his own life for others, to alleviate the misery of millions rending the air with their cries, to wipe away tears from the eyes of widows, to console the hearts of bereaved mothers, to provide the ignorant and the depressed masses with ways of means for struggling for existence, and make them stand on their own feet. And he has given continuously many ideas. In Buddha's time, it was this type of Sangha. What is Ramakrishna Sangha did is a same Buddha came as Ramakrishna, and he gave a new direction. Previously it was focused only correct your life, sammak drishti. Do this, right vision, right way of talking, right life of, only focusing here, mindfulness, you are doing. But what is happening to this society? That Sangha could not take care, but that is nothing wrong. That was very important during that period. So that Sangha was the Sangha of the monastics. And so monks, girls and boys, they all give up everything and everyone become sannyasi, monks. Buddhang saranang, everyone started saying, Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dharmang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, and they became all monks. And all are not fitted for monks' life, and all are not needed to be monks. But Buddhism, actually, that was the point where it fell down, because it was not properly quality of the student, one who have understand the truth primarily, correctly, and then serious to follow that mode and to renounce Kama Kanchan, what Ramakrishna said even today. This is, Buddha said the same thing, Trishna, don't have any desire, desire. Whole Buddhism, desire, bad. Sense attraction, sense love. No, giving a new turn to that, this Sangha again, the same Buddha Sangha which was actually flourished all over India and all over the world, this impact, and actually it carried the flag of renunciation in millions, thousands and thousands of become monks and dedicated their life for this crossing the suffering of life. That Sangha continued, it held that environment for each other to support. But Swami Vivekananda has turned a little bit on the other way, to have your own liberation and for the good of others. He has added to that. It is only focused here for my own salvation, mindfulness, detachment, seeing everything impermanent, get away of the world. That's also the same thing in the earliest Vedantic movement of the Sankara. They all focused here. But Ramakrishna and Vivekananda had brought this new additional direction, that yes, here, but at the same time there also. So, because the society is supporting you, you should give back to the society. And then moreover, all are not capable of doing 24 hours. How many? Yeah, people go for 10 hours, what you call, vipassana and this. I thank them very much. Just going there and day and night, 10 hours, 12 hours meditation continually. My God, they cannot sit. They have to sit in the cross-legged position or in the floor for hours and hours and hours. It's a matter of joke. But to live that whole life, it's a capacity is there, those are capable, they let them do. But most of the people are not capable of doing that. Then what will you do? You will do other things. And that will be selfish thinking. So Swami Vivekananda said, the monks are born, the purpose is that the sannyasin is born to the world, sacrifices his own life for others. Fundamental point. Don't think of yourself, but your spiritual thinking will be going on. It will make dual effect. And alleviate the misery of millions rending the air with their cries, to wipe out the tears from the eyes of the widows, to console the hearts of bereaved mothers, to provide the ignorant and depressed masses with the ways and means of the struggle for existence, and making them stand on their own feet, to broadcast the teaching of the scriptures to one and all without distinction for the spiritual and material welfare. This is the distinction. What new age Sangha, Ramakrishna Sangha is working on that under the guidance of Ramakrishna and Vivekananda and Holy Mother. That it is, our life should be with distinction for the spiritual and material welfare. My message, a broad message should be preached to the world without any distinction. For the spiritual growth as also material welfare, to rouse the sleeping lion of Brahman in the hearts of all being by the knowledge of Vedanta. The sannyasin is born to the world. So that is Swamiji's ideal, that this Sangha should do own realization of the truth. Same principle, everything momentary. So all the lectures and talks, what we talk about. That's why many people don't like us. always say that you are talking too much of detachment, no desire, no desire. Are what for life then? No? But the question is that life should be there, but at the same time to understand, as Buddha says, you awaken, know and do. When you are you knowing fully well that everything is temporary, and then being awakened into that consciousness, how you deal this, you eat, you will not stop eating. But how will you eat? Your attitude will change. Your perspective will change. That's why we do offer it to Brahman. Eat food and offer it to the fire of Brahman. You are eating, but your mental attitude is changing. Disidentification is happening. Detachment is happening. Growth is developing. You are eating as a human being. Someone is not hungry. Give something. Feel for him. So this is the another paradigm of this Sangha idea, what Swami Vivekananda. And he has said, again Swami Vivekananda, turning to his brother disciples, then the Swami Vivekananda said, remember, it is for the consummation of this purpose of life that we have taken birth. We shall lay down our lives for it. Arise, awake, arouse and awaken others. Fulfill your mission in life and you will reach the highest goal. So that was Swami Vivekananda. You must, and then Swami Vivekananda said after that, all the monastics together, you must renounce everything. Addressing to the aspirants of monastic life, he said, you must renounce everything. You must not seek comfort or pleasure for yourself. You must look upon gold, an object of lust, as poison, name and fame as the vilest filth, worldly glory as a terrible hell, pride of birth or social position as sinful as drinking spirit and liquor. In order to be teachers of your fellow men and for the good of the world, you will have to attain freedom through the knowledge of the self. And he emphasized, realize God and serve people. So this is the Sangha. That also you need one organization, and this is the present Sangha. So we come back to the point, 3 points. We have to take refuge in Buddha, the enlightened, Ramakrishna. Or for us, we can take it, no difference, but we are more fascinated to Ramakrishna. But today's subject is Buddha. So take refuge in Buddha, the awakened, who has solved the problem of the mystery of all these desires and these cravings and this negativity. Suffering, yes, overcome the sufferings of life and being enlightened, no? Buddham saranam gacchami. Dharmam saranam gacchami, follow the moral, spiritual, ethical life and see how we can be awakened into the consciousness. Everything is ephemeral, everything is changing. It is nothing permanent. Live in the world, think this way and have a right vision, right idea, right speech, right action, right living, and following that be illumined. And where? To get a community, a Sangha, an organization where we can meet together, sit together and be more comfortable with each other to practice our spiritual discipline. So this is Buddha's Sangha, did it for thousands of years. Ramakrishna Sangha only started not that much long, but it is creating that impact. The modern Sangha is this idea that not to come and talk other things, or talk about other things, not to live ordinary life, but to live this highest life, to solve the mystery of life and go beyond, and to be a light unto us and to light of the world. As Ananda, when he cried at the Buddha's passing away, and then Buddha's last word was that, Ananda, this is not the time to cry and weep. Be a lamp unto you. That is the question. Swami Vivekananda's idea the same. Be a lamp unto you, light unto you, and be a lamp for the good of others, for the welfare of others, dedicate the life. So this is the Sangha idea. So Dharma, Sangha, Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. So we are fortunate that we have such a Sangha. You are all coming, come more in person. We like to see in person more. Now time has changed little, You can, those who are online, thank you for listening, but at the same time, I would request that please come in person. There is a different environment is created, and as the Sangha idea grows more strong. Thank you, and there will be, and I'll announce later. So tomorrow, please come in person. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. We normally read the Swami Vivekananda. 9 volumes of Swami Vivekananda, we try to read in one day, 4,500 pages. So we cannot do, anyone cannot do. So we need all of you read together, and that brings the togetherness Sangha idea. So please come, and at 10 o'clock, it starts tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I hope that before our evening, noontime service, by 12 o'clock, or if not, we continue till we finish the books. So, and then have some prasad for those who attend. They please come and have that prasad. That's tomorrow, Memorial Day. It is going on. And many other people, many other devotees are reading the same thing remotely. But those who cannot come here at all, then you can just go to our website and MailChimp. There is a link is given. Anyone can press that link and read any pages of 30 pages, 20 pages, 30 pages, like that, up to your own choice. That will be good. That will bring us the idea of togetherness. And the next Sunday will be our the talk, 4th of June. And that day also, Sarvadevananda will be speaking again. So 2 consecutive weeks. So our topic is the journey to the life. So we end with one more prayer with Buddha's prayer. Om Jara Bedhi Kilvishanam Pradurbhuto Bhishakbara Namostu Bodhisattayo Sambuddhayo Namo Namaha Klesho Bandhano Bandhanam Pradurbhutat Pramukhakacha Namostu Bodhisattayo Sambuddhayo Namo Namaha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In the wilderness of this sorrowful world, you are the embodiment of supreme path. Salutation to you again and again. To those bound by the bonds of all the kleshas like attraction, aversion and fear, you have come as liberator. Salutations to you again and again. Of those suffering from old age, illness and sickness.
we have question answer in the
Oh, acha, yes. We will have some question answer session as usual in the living room. Please come, whoever wants to join.